This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Well, again, to God be the glory, and we had a scrimmage on Thursday, and we had about, I think, 6-7 touchdowns by the offensive side, but it was probably a little bit more defense. Did some good things, too. They had two interceptions and one fumble recovery. We had a lot of situational football, meaning that we had 2-minute drill, we had a short yardage, we had goal line. We had the 4-minute, so we had some 2-point plays. So just a lot of plays where we're really talking about situational, time on the clock, down in distance, a lot of those things. So it was more just trying to get our guys to have some football awareness, understanding what's going on, because you would play something differently, even though it may be a base call from an offensive perspective or a base call from a defensive perspective. You got to understand the situation. So that was primarily what the scrimmage was about. I was pleased to what we had some evaluation for our coaches, number one. Number two, our players to be able to be put in that, and so we can talk, discuss, make some adjustments here and there and all that. So I was really pleased from that point of view. So again, I think we're riding to a good situation now. We put the focus really on Old Dominion as we move forward here in our plans for September 1st.
From the scrimmage, how do you come out health-wise, and how's everyone progressing heading into Old Dominion?
Well, I think we're still evaluating some people. I think we're going to find out some things here next week to see if we got one or two guys that may miss the first ball game, but we'll make that determination here in the next 2 or 3 days and kind of see where we're at. But for the most part, we should have everybody ready to go.
How about your quarterbacks behind Buckshot, how they've developed during camp?
I think at the beginning of it, Mason Cunningham started off very, very slow. Some of the things there we thought he would be a little bit further along did not do as well, but he's come on strong. We did have a little bit of competition between those two guys there as far as in Mason Cunningham and Landon Brown. But right now, I'd have to say Mason Cunningham is a person that really is on his way to being a solid guy that can back us up if something happens there to Buckshot. But there's been good competition. Buckshot has done a fantastic job, so we feel good about our three quarterbacks. You know, Brandon Robinson, we're going to end up redshirting him and getting him some maturity and things of that nature. But I like some of the things that he produced, too, doing practices.
With the wide receiver group, you have two quarterbacks, Red Urick and David Jeremiah, who moved from quarterback to wide receiver. What have you seen in what those two have been able to do, especially with Urick coming off the labrum tear in his right shoulder last year?
Rud Urick, I think part of it, the decision as far as moving him from quarterback to receiver was really not going to be able to be somewhat competitive, being able to play. And so we talked about it to him and just gave him some decision on what other position that we have a chance that you can compete for an opportunity to play. So he's playing receiver. It's obviously a very, very challenging opportunity for him to see can he learn all those things and have a chance to play. So he's not quite right now to be in that part to say he's going to get any playing time at this point in time as a receiver. Same thing with David Jeremiah. Again, those guys are just opportunities to see if they can help our football team in other ways than maybe on the football field. So they understand that and they respect that.
You had success last year with Spencer Jones, who came here as a wide receiver, played special teams as a freshman, and then, became a holder and wide receiver last year. Are you hoping that those two can look to what he did last year and maybe have an opportunity to do that, somewhere down the line?
I think we just take it month by month and all those type of things. But if I had to give an assessment at this point in time, it might be a little bit more challenging for him this year to have a great opportunity to have a really, really impactful playing time at this point in time. But again, every month and every day is always a challenge, and a day is always an opportunity. But again, they haven't maybe come along as they would like. But again, we're glad they're on our team.
DJ Stubbs is a guy that showed a lot of promise last year. What do you hope he brings to the team this year?
Well, DJ, with the experience from last year, I expect him to do some great things, not only just from the offensive side of the ball as far as being a receiver, but also as far as a return guy. I think he has some special skills there. He definitely has improved. He's understanding the offense a lot better. He can play all the little different positions to do the routes that we need him to do. And so I anticipate him to really be outstanding this football season.
With Stubbs getting that playing time last year, and unfortunately with Cephas Reddick, not having any more eligibility left, how much was it a blessing to get him some playing time last year so you could slide him in right behind Damian King there at slot?
Well, I think it's always huge when we decide to play a true freshman. We know that they're not going to be maybe the dynamic player or really got it all down his first year. We wanted to get it planned for this year to play in some time, and that's what has occurred. DJ is really more comfortable. It's not too big for him. The game has slowed down. He understands what's going on. So, like I said, I think it's a big, huge plus that he got a chance to play quite a bit last year, and I think he's going to be a very, very vital importance in our offense.
Who are some wide receivers on the outside behind B.J. Farrow, Antonio Gandy-Golden, who are stepping up and who you could see getting significant reps in the rotation this year?
Kevin Shaw has done a fantastic job. He'll be in the mix. He'll be rotating in there quite a bit. Caleb Coleman will probably be the other guy that I would say the main two guys will probably be rotating in, with Gandy-Golden there and Farrow. So we're very pleased. We like to have 6 guys for his receiving core-wise that we really feel good about. I think we're at that point now. We feel pretty good about the 5-6 guys that's going to play quite a bit because they're going to rotate in just because of the nature of our offense and the things that we're trying to get done. So all those guys are going to play quite a bit.
Any of the freshmen going to play, like Sean Queen or Nathan Frith, some guys who came in highly recruited, do you think maybe see some playing time this year?
I mean, it's a possibility. I think right now, I think the only guy that we're seeing right now is going to be J.T. Wood. We're probably going to get some playing time at this point in time. If I had to say in this first ball game or second ball game that if some things need to have occur that he can have a chance to play. Right now, I'm not going to rule out Frith. I'm not going to rule out Queen. I think time will tell as we continue to move through. Again, we got 12 football games we've got to play. Also in the back of our mind, like I said, is that 4-game situation that we can have that opportunity. So that's why I'm not going to sit here and say we're definitely going to redshirt these guys because things can happen down the road.
Coach, defensively, we've talked a lot about stopping the run. What has happened in practice to indicate to you that the run defense is going to improve here in 18?
Well, I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to have that 6 or 7 guys as a defensive line that we can rotate in and can play, and so they can be pretty strong as far as to play that. Not to say that individually got to play 70, 80, 90 snaps, but hopefully we can be in that. The top guys can maybe be in those 60, maybe 70, and the other guys can play somewhere around the 10, 15, 20 snaps in a game, which is going to be huge. So I feel pretty good in our defensive coaches that we're going to have maybe that 6 or 7. So I think with those guys. And then I think they understand the defense very, very well. And so the linebackers, the safeties, very, very important. Safety is going to have the run game in some cases that they're going to have to count on. They got to know their gaps. They got to know what they need to do and how they need to do it. But I like what I've seen. Like I said, it's just not the D-line, but they're very, very key into it. So, again, that's why you go play the games here. I'm excited to see this team be able to get challenged here. And Old Dominion is going to be a very, very good football team, and it's going to be an exciting time.
Have you solidified your long snapper spot yet?
I think it hasn't been solidified. I think both of them have done a good job there as far as David King and really Austin Mock. I think probably a little bit, if I had to say today, Austin Mock may be leaning toward it, but we're going to probably see what happens here in the next 3 or 4 days and make a final decision. We feel good about both of them. It's good that we have 2 that are really, really good. Neither one of them really have had a chance to have a snap in a football game, but I trust them and I believe in them.
At times you've used a short and a long snapper. Do you see a sense where one guy does both roles?
Yeah, I think that can happen. We could go one doing long snap, the other going short snap as far as that goes. But it is both of them have done very, very good as far as in both of them being a long snapper and a short snapper. So we'll see what happens.